The neon lights of the Las Vegas Strip gleamed like a technicolor dream, casting an eerie glow on the bustling streets below. The air was thick with the scent of excitement and desperation, as crowds of people moved in and out of the lively casinos, hoping for a stroke of luck. Among them was Emily, a young woman with a penchant for adventure and a desire to explore the city's dark underbelly. Emily had heard whispers of a mysterious casino tucked away in the shadows, away from the glitz and glamour of the main strip. Rumors circulated that this hidden establishment catered to those seeking a different kind of thrill, a thrill that went beyond the rush of a slot machine or the spin of a roulette wheel. As she navigated the labyrinthine streets, Emily eventually found herself in a dimly lit alley. A nondescript door beckoned her with a subtle glow, and a shiver ran down her spine as she pushed it open. The atmosphere inside was heavy, the air laced with an unsettling energy that made her uneasy. The casino was devoid of the usual cacophony of cheers and laughter. Instead, a hushed silence enveloped the room as patrons focused intently on their games. Emily hesitated at the entrance, feeling the weight of unseen eyes upon her. Ignoring her instincts, she pressed on, drawn to the center of the room where a lone slot machine stood. The machine seemed out of place, a relic from a bygone era. Its metallic surface was tarnished, and the reels creaked as they spun. Emily couldn't resist the allure of the vintage contraption and took a seat, feeding a few coins into the slot. With each pull of the lever, a disconcerting melody played. The lights flickered, casting distorted shadows on the walls. Emily's initial excitement gave way to a creeping sense of dread. The symbols on the reels seemed to twist and contort with each spin, forming grotesque faces that leered at her. As she continued to play, the once muted whispers around her grew louder, morphing into sinister laughter. Emily felt a chill down her spine as the atmosphere thickened, becoming almost suffocating. Glancing around, she noticed the other patrons were fixated on her, their eyes devoid of humanity. A sudden realization struck her. She had unwittingly become a participant in a game far more sinister than any she had encountered before. The slot machine, a conduit to an otherworldly realm, had ensnared her in a web of malevolence. The room plunged into darkness, and the haunting laughter reached a crescendo. Panic set in as Emily struggled to escape, but the door she entered through was nowhere to be found. The twisted faces on the slot machine seemed to contort with malicious glee, and a voice echoed in her mind, promising an eternity of horror. Desperation clawed at Emily as the malevolent force closed in around her, trapping her in the nightmarish casino. Little did she know, the true horror was only beginning, and the shadows of Las Vegas held secrets darker than she could have ever imagined. Emily's heart raced as she stumbled through the inky darkness, disoriented and terrified. The malevolent laughter echoed, bouncing off unseen walls that seemed to close in on her. The air felt thick with an otherworldly presence, and the twisted faces on the slot machine seemed to mock her every step. She came upon a narrow corridor, its walls lined with peculiar paintings that seemed to shift and writhe in the dim light. The murals depicted scenes of agony and despair, capturing the essence of the casino's sinister nature. As she pressed on, the corridor seemed to stretch endlessly, trapping her in a nightmarish labyrinth. The whispers returned, now more coherent, urging Emily to confront the darkness that enveloped her. A flickering light appeared at the end of the corridor, drawing her like a moth to a flame. As she approached, the source of the light became apparent, a door adorned with strange symbols that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. Driven by a combination of fear and curiosity, Emily pushed the door open. The room beyond was a surreal amalgamation of reality and nightmare. Twisted figures moved in the shadows, their eyes gleaming with an unnatural light. At the center of the room stood a figure cloaked in darkness, its presence commanding the attention of the grotesque congregation. "You have entered the realm of the Forsaken," the figure intoned, its voice a haunting melody that reverberated through Emily's very soul. A gambler seeking thrills beyond mortal comprehension. Emily's voice caught in her throat as she struggled to comprehend the surreal scene unfolding before her. The figure revealed itself as the keeper of the twisted casino, an entity that fed on the fears and desires of those lured into its grasp. The slot machine was but a gateway, a tool to ensnare unsuspecting souls. "You've played the game, and now you must pay the price," the figure declared, its form shifting between shadows and substance. The walls of the room seemed to close in, suffocating Emily as the malevolent force tightened its grip. With each passing moment, the room warped, distorting reality itself. Emily felt herself unraveling, her sanity slipping away like sand through her fingers. The twisted faces on the slot machine manifested around her, whispering maddening secrets that threatened to consume her mind. In a desperate bid for escape, Emily pleaded with the figure, promising to leave the accursed place and never return. The room fell silent, and the figure considered her words. After an agonizing pause, it spoke, granting her a chance to flee the wretched realm. As Emily stumbled out of the room, the corridor seemed to retract like a serpent retracting into its lair. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the haunting laughter faded into the distance. She found herself back in the alley, the door to the nightmarish casino nowhere in sight. Haunted by the ordeal, Emily stumbled back onto the Las Vegas Strip, the neon lights blurring into a surreal dance. The true horror of that hidden casino lingered in her mind, a chilling reminder of the darkness that could lurk beneath the surface of even the most glittering cities.